Hello, I'm ANEKA from Made to Sew and welcome to my Sewing for Beginners series. In this short video, I'm going to be showing you how to thread a sewing machine with two threads on the top, allowing you to use a twin needle. So when might you want to use a twin needle? Twin needles are perfect as a decorative finish. They can be great when top stitching. They can be useful for using pin tucks or sewing pin tucks. And my favourite is when you can use them for hemming on jersey or stretch knit items to create a fake coverlock stitch. And I'll pop a link here to my tutorial that shows you how to do that. Do remember to use the right size twin needle for the fabric that you're working with. Twin needles come in stretch or jersey or ballpoint needles, as well as standard universal needles. So make sure that you're using the right twin needle for the job. If you want to learn more about what needles to use and when, follow the link here to my needle tutorial. So let's begin. You should find that there is the option to have two spool pins on your sewing machine. Now I have a horizontal spool pin here, and on my sewing machine I have an attached vertical spool pin that I can lift up. You may have two vertical spool pins, or you may actually have a little spool pin that you need to attach to your machine. And this is for another machine. I actually need to insert this. This spool pin comes in the accessories case. Grab your threads and position them onto the spool pins. Make sure you are using suitable threads for the spool pins. You can use cross-wound threads, which is when the thread zigzags up and down the spool on both horizontal and vertical spool pins. If you are working with a stacked thread where the thread is sitting one on top of itself along the spool, you must position these onto vertical spool pins. This will allow the thread to come off the spool pin at a right angle and prevent it from catching on the ends of the spool. I discuss this in greater detail in my How to Thread video. Use a suitable sized spool disc and make sure that the thread is coming off the spool in the direction that your manual recommends. Now I'm going to take my threads across at a right angle and I'm going to position them behind a little hook at the back of my machine here. And I'm going to do this for both my vertical and my horizontal spool pin. Just like so. I would recommend taking one thread at a time. You need to remember which of the threads stays on the right and which stays on the left. In this machine, I'm going to guide the threads to the front here and then down between the tension discs. On my machine, there is a very small little metal plate that sits in the middle of the tension discs. I'm going to allow one of my threads to go to the right of this little metal plate and the other one to go to the left. The horizontal spool pin is going to go to the right of the metal plate. The vertical spool pin is going to go to the left of the metal plate. Your machine might not allow you to have one thread on the right and one thread on the left of the little metal plate. You might not have one in between your tension discs, in which case you will hold the threads firmly, keeping one thread on the right and one thread on the left throughout the process. Keeping the same thread on the right and the same thread on the left, you're going to bring the threads down, around at the bottom and back up. At the top, you're going to thread through the eye of the lever. Use the hand wheel, if required, to raise or lower the lever so that it is visible. Standard threading procedure here. Bring the threads back down towards the needle. Nearing the needle, keep the same thread on the left and the same thread on the right. Follow the standard procedure for threading until you reach the top of the needles. Make sure that the threads do not become twisted as you thread the machine. Then, once you get to the needles, you're simply going to thread one of the needles with the right hand thread. So the right hand needle is threaded with the right hand thread, the left hand needle is threaded with the left hand thread. I recommend doing this with your foot down and the sewing machine turned off for safety reasons. Thread the needles from the front to the back, just like so. When you finish threading the needles, raise the presser foot and guide the thread to the center of the presser foot towards the back or side of the sewing machine. And there you have it, you're ready to begin sewing. And here is the finished stitch from the needle side. It is 2 rows of straight stitching. And then if I were to turn this over, you can see it from the bobbin side. Because there's only one bobbin, the bobbin zigzags between the 2 rows of stitching. I used a different colour so that you can see the difference. And you will see that I actually did need to tweak the tension here. The stitch on the left here has a better tension. There is less of the needle thread, the blue needle thread visible. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial.